Hi everyone, welcome to week 5. This week we begin a new unit and it's going to cover chapters 6 and 7 for this week. So as always, you'll have the quizzes. Those will be due this coming Sunday, and that's the 21st. So you will have the same as you have multiple attempts and it's pass fail. These are not on the Unit 1 exam. Unit 1 exam only goes through the first 5 chapters, and I highly recommend, if you haven't already, figure out a time to take that exam. Again, it's a difficult exam. All of the exams in this course are difficult. That's why I provide you with those topic sheets, and I recommend going through those, reviewing them, making sure you understand not just definitions, but how they apply, different examples. You can have notes as long as they're not on the computer. This is the Respondus Lockdown browser. So the only thing you'll be able to access when you take the exam on your computer is the exam. So this week we do something a little different. We are going to have it's an assignment, but you're going to be playing a healthcare simulation game. It's pretty old. It's the one that in this course, in every single section of the course, no matter who teaches it. And so this is the one that has been identified to provide the most applicable experience as far as identifying and developing different healthcare models. If you've taken Healthcare 155 in the past, this simulation may have been used, so you may be familiar with it, but you're going to be using it in an entirely different way. So I'm going to click on this, and essentially you are going to have to play this game at least 4 times. I recommend maybe going into it and familiarizing yourself with it before you actually start. But your role is to replicate the 4 different healthcare models. And so those are the Beveridge, the Bismarck, the National Health Insurance, and then out-of-pocket models. And so my suggestion is to, go into the game, kind of figure out what it's like. And one of the instructors for this course has created an introduction, and so I recommend going into this video, and it's going to tell you, what you need to do in order to play the game, what it will look like, and then maybe some options that you might need to adjust for the assignment. Then this is the game itself. You'll click on this link, but what you should do before actually diving into the assignment part of it to develop the different healthcare models is I would go and read this article. It's from Princeton, and it goes into, if it will scroll, the 4 different models, and you can click on each of these hyperlinks to develop or to gain more information, which I also recommend you have a pretty good understanding of what these models look like in order to replicate it in the game. So you'll read through this article, maybe do some additional research. You will definitely need to read your book. If you haven't already figured it out, most of these assignments tie back into the book, and it helps to have read through things first. So you'll go through, you'll read the article, you'll familiarize yourself with the game, and then you'll actually get into the meat of it. And so what you need to do is, it has the instructions right at the top. You need to spend 5 years in the game, running the simulation and trying to make that healthcare model work in the game. So it's going to take about an hour to get through 5 years, and so you're going to be doing that 4 times. Um, so it's, and it could take you longer than that, just depending on how the game goes. So my recommendation is to go through, maybe two of them this week and then two of them the following week. So you will have 2 weeks to get this assignment done. This one is not due on Sunday the 21st. Um, it's due the following week. So I would recommend not saving it all for the end, but making sure that, you have at least a good handle of part of it in the first week. So what you have to do once you've completed the 5 years is you need to do a new discussion board post. And this one is going to be lengthy. As it says, you have a paragraph for each section. So there are 6 different paragraphs that you'll be creating. And I'm going to be, reviewing heavily for content and ensuring that you have all the information in there. So my recommendation is to have a maybe a Word document or something you can take notes on as you're going through this. And this first one, before you even start playing the game, after you've read through the 4 different models, tell me which one you believe is the best, and then I would recommend writing that first in a Word document, and then it also asks you, once you've completed it, do you still believe this after the game? So this is going to have 2 different pieces to it. But then you have to reflect over your results after running, the beverage model, the Bismarck, the national health, and then the out of pocket. So you're going to have 4 different paragraphs on each of the different health models. And so I want to know, this is truly a reflection. What worked? What was good? What maybe didn't work? What mistakes did you make in the game? So reflect on each of them. And so that's why I think it's going to be easier if you don't try to remember at the very end, um, what had happened, but make your paragraph in a separate document after the end of each model that you implement for 5 years. And then finally, for the last paragraph, reflect on what you've personally learned about healthcare and healthcare systems and then implementing them, both from the book and the game. So I'm expecting you to be able to, tie in what you've learned from the book, what you've read from outside research, and then how that, was implemented or how it worked in the game. And then, as always, you need to respond to peers. This time you only have to do 2 peers, and so you'll respond to 2 peers with, constructive feedback on their results as well. So this one is quite extensive, but you have 2 weeks to complete this one. Back to week 5. So you will have Chapter 6 and Chapter 7, as well as Unit 1 exam that are due by the end of this coming week on the 21st, and then you've got an additional week to complete the healthcare simulation. So, as always, have a great week, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.